So, Em, thank you for coming along and agreeing to kind of have a bit of an interview with me, ready for the What Next campaign, or just to share what journeying with Sally Webb, and there might be some randoms that come out of this, but with an inspiring perspective, or with me, has been. So, for those people who don't know you, who are you? What do you do? And kind of a little bit of insight into Emily Britton and her life, and then how we met would be amazing.
Who I am, Emily Britton, married to a guy, Jason Britton, and together we have had 5 boys. So that's kind of my first OM. I have a background as a physiotherapist, and when my twins, that's the youngest of my 5, went to school, I decided that having a proper job and having 5 children was incompatible, and I moved over to help Jason run his business so that we could kind of pull in the same direction. And so now I am the CEO of a building company, a joinery company, and a painting company. We employ around 20 staff, and I am probably the brains behind the systems and procedures for that.
Wow, that was a brilliant, quick resume, gold. And so, how did we meet, and where does this all kind of fit in for us?
So, I'm not absolutely sure how long it is, but I think it's around 9 years ago, just a little bit before I got pregnant with the twins. We had met firstly through a mutual friend, I think Lou, and perhaps through Herraworth School, and then again later on I used my physio skills to treat a pony of yours, and we kind of formed a friendship at a point in our lives when we were both a little bit on struggle street, and we have journeyed through that time, some of that journey separately and some together, but never really not having a regular catch up. And so we have held each other up, been each other's supporter, and been sometimes a voice of reason, sometimes just a reflector, but we've definitely intentionally made time to catch up regularly throughout that time.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here sort of reflecting on how you managed to fix a pony that I'd had treated for a year, and you fixed him in 3 sessions. Mm-hmm. And at that time I was also going to a physio and had been going for 6 months, and then I thought, gee, if she can do this for the pony, she can do it for me. And sure enough, 3 sessions, that kind of has always been your number, as like 3, like, yep, get you sorted, away you go. And it was just kind of, it kind of morphed from there. And then we pretty much now, we're in a situation where we very rarely miss our weekly catch up of how things are going, where are we at. And
it's a little bit personal and it's a little bit business, and we're both obviously business owners, and so that there's a lot of crossover there, but it's not just business either, it's personal too.
Yeah. And I suppose just for people listening who don't know us, this part of this is for January. It is to give people a bit of a hope and a bit of a future and a bit of insight into what actually makes it work for people.
Yeah.
And so I think for many of us, we think, oh great, let's, new year, new you, let's just, go to the gym, do all these things. And by the 17th of January, most people, 75% of us have given up.
Yeah.
And part of our journey is that we've been pretty consistent in catching up. And I suppose one of the things that I'm hoping people will realise from following in January and seeing what's going on, we're all different. Some people just need that little spark, get going, and they're away. That's all we need sometimes.
Yeah.
But what would you say, and I know I'm not the only person you catch up with, like we all need a good crew around us of people who will speak wisdom and insight in different spaces. So you might have a great accountant, or you might have just people who just have different expertise. What would you say to people who are thinking, oh, I'll just go on this course, or I'll go on this, or I'll read a book and then I'll be fixed? What would your comment or perspective be on that?
I think that it's much more useful to think of life as there not being a destination point. You're not fixed, but neither are you broken. I think that if you're at a point in your life where a lot of things aren't going quite the way you'd like them to, well, that actually provides you with a massive opportunity to make change. And change needs to be beneficial or it's unsustainable. That's basically how it goes. And so it doesn't matter if the thing that you do is a big thing or a little thing. If it creates a positive change, you're very likely to at least take some of it. So in my case, if I were to look at the different areas of my life, whether that's our business, whether it's my marriage, whether it's my children, whether it's my friendships or my fitness or whatever it is, my nutrition, very few people manage to nail it all the time and be perfect. But what if you've got a team of people that keep you accountable, that's really the cool part. So and different people will add to that in different ways. So in my life, I've got an accountant and finance guy that I catch up with, and yeah, that does. It is to do with how the business is going, but I also have to do a bit of work before I turn up there, and it inspires me to go, oh yeah, that went really well, let's do some more of that, or no, that doesn't fit anymore, let's not do that, let's change direction and do this. And I think having an open mind, and personally, like with you and I, some of the time I actually just want to go, maybe this or maybe that. What do you think? Now, you might not have all of the answers, but I'll listen because you'll deliver me your part. And then somebody else in my life, I often find that when I've got a problem, I will gather information from a variety of sources, and sometimes I'll intentionally seek out somebody that I think won't agree with me if I've got a particular perspective, just so that I'm open to that not being the holy grail. And then you can reflect on whether that part's right. And often the truth kind of sorts itself out. Yeah. So it's that combination of gathering people's wisdom and then assimilating that into what feels right in your heart, and then walking forward in that direction until you get information that says, let's make a change.
And that's so interesting because, part of where this What Next conference is going to is we all play a part, and so different people are presenting at this because it's not all about me, or it's not all about one person being the answer, but when we come together and we share our wisdom or we share our insight, it makes a difference. And it's also partly to launch what's going to be a community, in terms of the fact that I have had the blessing of being in communities with others where it's the wisdom of other people. You go, I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't thought of that. So you've kind of got in what I do, the training and the structure and the format. And what you do, you've got training and structure and format in everything that you do too.
Yeah.
But then it's almost like there's 1 degrees. It's like those one little steps, or those tweaks, or those habits, or those adjustments.
You make 1 degree in 3 different areas and you can make a 30-degree shift.
Gee, that's a writer-downer, that one. Like that, that's a writer-downer. So I suppose for people who don't know me, and you've had to hang out with me, well, you've chosen, thankfully, to hang out with me for the last 19 years, however long it's been. What is it that I bring to you? Because everyone brings a different part, but what is it? Because people will be going, well, why would I hang out with Sally? What is it that she's got that is of value that you find in me?
I think that one of the most valuable things that you bring to my life is a combination of warmth and strength. You're strong enough to not just pay lip service to whatever crazy idea I've come up with next. And there's a few of those on a daily basis. I'm prone to a big idea, and I love the fact that you will ask me questions and you will not just accept it, whatever I've said. But at no point do I ever feel like that's not done with love, warmth and friendship. I've never feel like I'm belittled or put down or like I hadn't got it right. I've never ever felt like that, and hopefully you haven't either. It's that being able to be honest but not unkind. That's the special trick, and that not everyone can achieve that. I think we've all probably know people who you actually value their perspective, but sometimes the way they deliver it is a little bit off-putting, and you have to kind of get past that. And then for other people, you know that they love you unconditionally, but you also know that they'll say yes even if it's crazy. And so they're probably, you have to get past that as well. So I would say that's probably your USP, is a combination of warmth and strength.
Oh, gee, I wish I'd paid you to say that. And I think that's been our journey, is this, it's not brutal honesty.
No.
But it's always honesty around just what you think in your heart, what you feel. And I think what I love about journeying with you, and because of our journey, it's birthed more than that in terms of we've seen each other through all sorts of things. You've seen me through my divorce, you've seen me through re-merging, remarriage, like there's been so much that we've journeyed together. But what I'm really learning for when I'm working with clients, when I'm working with groups of people, it's actually bringing that community together. It's bringing, we journey, and it happens over time. It doesn't happen in 1 minute.
No.
It's like, it's showing up.
It's layer by layer by layer.
Yeah.
And I think also it's a little bit like sewing, it's almost like sewing strings into your heart. You sort of, there's one piece of cotton when you've formed a friendship with someone, but over years there's more and more and more and more of those, and so that one of the things that occurred to me is just when you were talking before was that some of the time we've been like, I've spoken to you more than one time in a day, because I was going through something, or you were, we've both shown up when it's really mattered, when it's not going well and we're not fun to be around, and we've got a couple of things that we need to share, occasionally at volume, and that's, but then at other times when we're both like skating along with a project or everything's going well, or we're just really, really busy, the connection might be quite light, but it's there.
Yeah. Should
you need that rope, should you need those strings, you just have to pull on them, and there you are. You've got that person to the net.
And I love that. I love the way that because I often see that as we all connect, we're weaving. We're kind of weaving. So I see that kind of the interconnection of weaving those strings and those connections, which makes us strong. And I think the thing that's just sort of made me realise is every week we've just shown up. We haven't come with an agenda.
No.
We haven't come with, we may have something on our heart we want to sort out. We may have something that we need some strategy around, but we've just shown up.
Sometimes we don't even as well. Sometimes we've just, minced on about whatever rubbish we're thinking about at the time. But sometimes we've had to give something some serious airtime,
Yeah.
and we have.
And I'm sort of sitting here now thinking, golly, there we were, like I was married to a different person, you know, with the ponies or whatever when we started this journey. And thankfully you are still married to the same amazing husband that you had 9 years ago. It's not like that's changed, which is fantastic. But with all things in life, we've kind of, what I'm looking at now is, you know, when I met you, you had 3 children. And you were running 2 businesses because you were a physio for human beings as well as for horses at that time.
Yeah.
But all keeping everything quite low key, like you were just within reason, you were juggling that. And I look at you now running 3 businesses with 5 amazing boys, having had a really challenging year on so many levels this year. And you're sitting here now calm as, like, for those of you who don't know, this is like 2 days before Christmas. And you're like, yeah, I've got it all sorted, like it's all done, you're ready to go away, do the things that you do with the family. And I suppose
I won't be wrapping at midnight, I think, on Christmas Eve for the first time in my entire adult life.
how amazing, like I know that doesn't sound very amazing to most people, but you have always, I think both of us to a certain degree, we like to live relatively on the edge, like we like to push the boundaries a bit. But it's just, but yeah, you've had a really challenging year this year.
Yeah.
But out of that has come the most amazing things probably that could have happened.
Yes, absolutely.
And so you being set for Christmas is one of those amazing things. Yes, who would have thought it? So I suppose I'm sitting here thinking, what is it that we've talked about the heart, we've talked about the love, we've talked about the honesty and the integrity. And with that has come this strength that we both have in terms of we know someone's got your back.
Yes.
You know somebody's your cheerleader. And you are my #1 sounding board the other way around too. I'm like, I think I'm going to do this. I know I haven't coached you, but is there any chance I can, you know, interview you so people can get a feel of who Sally is? And you're like, yeah, no worries, you know, and here I am dragging you out 2 days before Christmas. But I just want to say a massive thank you.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure.
And I hope, as my #1 cheerleader, obviously after my husband, that you will be seeing us in February for What Next. In fact, I'm hoping that Emily's going to be on the panel because that'll be quite cool. So you guys that are out there, if you want to ask her some questions about how on earth she manages to be a CEO of 3 businesses and look after 5 children and have an amazing marriage and keep that together, then I encourage you to come and join us at What Next on the 10th and 11th of Feb. Emily, thank you so much. Have an amazing Christmas.
And you.
Yes! Nailed it! Oh my goodness, you were so kind. Right, I'll do that
Come
one.
off how you would like it to be.
Right, I just...